So, without further ado, Senator Eric Schmitt, welcome to the show. And, this is your first time back to our show. And so I just want to give you a chance to reflect on that. And you're doing great work in the Senate, by the way. And I want to give you major props for that, for raising awareness about this rise of left-wing violence. So the floor is yours, Senator.
Well, listen, man, it's good to be back with you. And it's the first time I've been on the show since Charlie was assassinated. And like many who knew him, is just devastating. And I'm not sure there were interviews in the first couple of days, and I really struggled with the words because it just felt like it was such a big tragedy. And you know him better than most, and just his willingness to go out and try to convince people, go on college campuses. And he was so effective. And I think that's why his life was taken. He was so effective with young people. And just since then, you've just seen this outpouring of support and the conversion of minds. And he also, he talked about his faith a lot. That's a unique thing. Not a lot of people do that in the public square. Certainly people, that were Charlie's age talk about, hey, have kids, have a family, all those sorts of things that are really important lessons. And I just think that his memory will carry on, and the great work that you guys are doing at Turning Point, but he's going to be missed. I mean, he's just a very unique character, not just somebody who was skilled like orator and debater, but was an operator. And actually, I think about whenever I went down to the last weekend of the campaign, went down to Arizona to meet up with President Trump, and then we went to Michigan and Wisconsin, and then back to New York. And that final weekend, it was RFK was down there and others. And just talking to Charlie and how optimistic he was. He's like, hey, man, get back on that plane, go up there. We got it handled here in Arizona. It's just a very unique person. And there's definitely, it's just a huge loss. But really appreciate you guys are kind of soldiering on here and carrying forth that mission. It's important work.
Well, I appreciate that. And he really respected you, Senator, and trusted you, knew you were one of the good guys that were fighting and actually putting up wins for the conservative movement, part of this new vanguard of real conservatives, rock-red conservatives that were not afraid to play offense. And so we know that you are a huge part of that legacy and that fight that Charlie had, and you're showing that. And you've launched this Senate hearing it's called Politically Violent Attacks, a Threat to Our Constitutional Order. And I love it because you've gone so far as to say that the violence comes predominantly from one side of the aisle, which is a complete rebuttal to what you hear from the other networks, right? You hear that this is a both sides issue. This is left and right-wing extremists, and Joe Biden saying that MAGA extremists are the number one threat to our democracy and the soul of our nation. So what do you hope to accomplish in this, Senator? I think it's great, and I'm glad you're doing it.
Well, thanks. And you saying that about Charlie and how he viewed me, I can't tell you how much that means to hear that. So, honestly, the genesis of this, it was a couple of days after his assassination that we had a judiciary hearing, and I kind of went on this impromptu kind of rant about, don't give me this both sides bullshit was that the term that I used, and just sort of like extemporaneously rattling off all of these incidents that, the Waukesha Christmas parade, the Covenant school shooting, Butler, Pennsylvania, Abundant Life, Tesla's firebombed, ICE facilities, the Minnesota Catholic school shooting, and then, of course, with the literally shooting Charlie Kirk in the throat as he was speaking truth. This isn't a both sides thing. This is a symptom of a sickness on the left that I feel like has to be addressed. And so that hearing next week will be the first in Congress, will be the first in the Senate to address this head on. I don't think we should play this game with the left on this both sides stuff. This is, if you kind of take a step back, Andrew, you go back to the early 70s, the Weather Underground, they were firebombing, causing chaos. It was a lot of violence that was coming from the left, and there weren't real consequences there. A lot of those people that were in charge of that movement, including Bill Ayers, went on to be tenured professors and into academia. He actually hosted the first fundraiser for Barack Obama when he was running for the state Senate. It kind of made its way into the political mainstream of the left. They were rewarded for it. And now we see it really playing out and metastasizing in the polling that you see, which is 25% of those who describe themselves as very liberal believe that political violence is justified to meet a political ends. Compare that to 3% of very conservatives. That's 3% too many. But don't tell me it's the same thing. And when over half of those who are on the left side of the ledger believe that it's at least somewhat justifiable to murder President Trump, there's a problem that is not a both sides thing. It is a real big problem for the left. And so we're going to have a hearing on it. We're going to have Michael Knowles come testify, who was a victim of a firebombing himself, of what's really behind all this and what are the strategies moving forward. I've actually called for and written to Secretary Rubio to declare Antifa a international terrorist organization. President Trump's declared them domestic terrorist organization. I think this network runs far and wide. It's coordinated. They have safe houses. They have funding. We need to go at this thing and be aggressive, not just play defense, but play offense, because this is a real threat to our country and the fabric of our constitutional republic.
Well, and let's just go through a couple examples here, Senator Schmitt, and thank you for all of that, genuinely, from my heart. 226, this is a video of a pink-haired person at the University of Arizona, and she's calling our Turning Point representatives that were tabling there Nazis. And she says, "Watch your necks." 226.
Yeah. Hey, Nazis, can you set up somewhere where I can avoid you easily?
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Nah, you Nazi. Watch your neck.
Thanks.
That's just one example. Then you have this school teacher, if the team could get these images, Lucy Martinez. She's a K-8 STEM teacher at Nathan Hale Elementary School in Chicago. She, of course, was spotted and went viral doing a handgun motion to her neck, mocking Charlie's assassination. This is somebody that teaches students, children in K-8 STEM classes. And we were provided with an email from one of the parents that kids goes to the school. This parent sent it to us, and the school makes no mention in this email, Senator Schmitt, of the vile behavior that Lucy Martinez demonstrated in an impromptu moment. I call this life's pop quiz, and if you fail it, I'm sorry. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have consequences. Right now, the consequences, a lot of pressure from social media. But as far as we know, she still has a job. She's still employed. She's still hoping probably to go back to her job teaching young people about science and math. Meanwhile, she has been revealed to be a monster who believes that political assassinations of my friend Charlie, a husband and a father and a good man who lifted up debate and open dialogue, that she thinks that's something to mock out in the open in public. And the fact that the monsters feel that they can be so public about it, shame on them. And we need to make political assassination, political violence taboo again in this country. And that starts with her getting a pink slip.
Yeah, well, and if you ever needed a bigger advertisement for school choice, there it is. Can you imagine your kid being forced because you're in that public school and maybe you don't have the option to go to a Catholic school or a private school or a religious school, that has to be your teacher for the rest of the year? Yeah, and there has to be accountability here. Well, I tell you, Andrew, like it's a lot of it's being exposed. The media doesn't want you to see it, but these are being captured, obviously, in social media. Turning Points, the original clip that you showed, the second one, of course, then just happens to be viral. The media doesn't want to talk about this. And I think we have to continue to drive this conversation because we should stand unapologetically for free speech and we should condemn political violence at every turn. There's no place for it. But there is this growing desire among the left to take those sorts of matters into their own hands. And there's a celebration culture. I mean, I hate even talking about it after Charlie's assassination, but it was sick to see so many people like celebrating this. And these are people who like work at your school or they work at the local deli. Like, what in the hell is going on around here? And but I think you see it play out in so many different ways. The left is sort of inherently sewn into this kind of violent framework. And I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about the people who really subscribe to the idea that they're part of a movement where violence is totally justified. And it's the same kind of different, but you got this Trump derangement syndrome that gave, and when you call half the country, and I talked about this in the hearing, you call half the country for a decade a basket of deplorables, bitter clingers, Nazis, trash, fascists, Don't tell me that you're not othering in making it easier to sort of create this narrative that it's somehow justified because it's literally Hitler, and you can be the person that stopped Hitler. I mean, these people know what they're doing, and even with this No Kings nonsense this weekend, these people they've lost elections, they've lost the debate. There's a lot of, whatever. God bless you. Go out and protest all you want. But there is this element here on the left that I fully intend to expose. I'm not going away on this. And I'm not going to be, shamed into this idea that it's a both sides thing. This is predominantly, this political violence we've seen is predominantly coming from the left. There's no doubt about it. And it needs to be exposed, and we need to have hearings on it. There needs to be accountability, and we need to disrupt these coordinated networks that facilitate it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, that was the last text message that Charlie sent to Stephen Miller, was saying we have to disrupt and destroy these funding networks that are fomenting political violence. And, I just think, God bless you, Senator. Thank you so much. We appreciate you making the time to come on the show today. What you're doing is truly important. So Godspeed, and I pray great success for that hearing. And
likewise, man. Hey, I'm praying for you, everybody in the Turning Point Network, the entire audience. Everybody's still grieving, but this is important work that's going to continue, and I appreciate you too.
Thank you, Senator. God bless you. We'll see you soon and have you back on again soon too. Thank you. I want to take